that comes across the microphone or the screen is a matter of public record, as this does get posted to our YouTube channel. This owl guy here makes this possible. He is wonderful, but in a big room, he struggles a bit. So if you are in the back and you are participating, project your voice, please. And also, if you make noises up close to him, he'll zoom in on your face. And it's usually my face that he zooms in on. So I don't know if I'm breathing too loud or what, but just keep that in mind as we go. The projection up here is not wonderful either. It's kind of small, but there are packets on your table for the board training part if you want to follow along with that. The fiscal agent report, that you can just listen to that. There's not a whole lot that you need to see, so you should be good otherwise. So with that, those who are joining remotely, please keep yourself muted unless you want to speak at that time. With that, we can get ready whenever Chair Gerald decides to.
I'm ready. I don't know
All
about you.
right.
All right. So welcome, as the agenda says. Glad everybody came. Everybody's safe. So we'll start off. Debbie, would you please provide the roll call, please?
Sure will. Gerald Blue,
Here.
Jim Bolin,
Here.
Kevin Binker, Casey Burkholzer, Kevin Busher,
Present.
Brian Cannon, okay, Pat Click, Mike Conrad,
Here.
Sandy Daters,
Here.
Cassie Iger, Carolyn Jorgensen, Mandy Martin,
Here.
Josh McElravy,
Here.
Julie Obermark, John Perry, Lori Portman,
Here.
Deb Reed,
Here.
Denise Smith,
Here.
Chris
Here.
Stroll,
Here.
Kim Taylor, Carol Tracy,
Present.
Connie Waldron, Jason Warfel,
Here.
Courtney Yaki,
Here.
and Austin Swilling. We have a quorum.
Good, great, good deal. So everyone has received minutes earlier last week. Hopefully you've had an opportunity to review them. So do I have a motion to approve the minutes as was presented? Okay, Sandy makes motion. Do I have a second? Second?
Second.
All right, second, Chris. Anyone, were there any corrections? Now that we've had a motion second, were there any corrections anyone had? All right, if none, all in favor, say aye. All opposed, same sign. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, next, conflicts of interest. Does anyone have any conflicts on any of the agenda items this evening? If not, speak now, whoever holds your peace. We'll move on. So the little board, there's a little packet, as Jamie had mentioned. They're on the table. So she actually kind of sent it to me a little early. She said she actually did the practice run with her 9-year-old, and the 9-year-old thought it was very boring, Mom. So I'm sure my 9-year-old granddaughter would think the same thing. So step it up, Jamie.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure you guys will find it riveting, though. She made it to 4 minutes and 27 seconds. So if I can keep it under 4.5 minutes, I think we'll be fine. However, I don't know that that's possible. So Tony's going to cough every time I'm taking too long. So if you think he's dying, I'm killing him. That's all it is. So welcome to the Local Workforce Innovation Board training. What we're going to talk about today is just a deep dive into the board roles. We've done this before. If you're new, you've gone through the orientation, we've talked about this. Just a deep dive, a re-emphasis, and kind of a rebranding. I found a really cool resource that talked about all the same things I'd already been talking about, but made it look neat and cool, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So we'll talk about basically the 4 roles boiled down to being the strategist, the convener, the manager, and the optimizer. And then at the end, I do have a call to action of you. As Tony has pointed out to me, the first few slides look very familiar because I use them at the beginning of every single presentation. So I will not read out loud this same quote that I keep putting out there, but I like to be reminded of the work that we do and what impact it has globally and why what we're doing is important. So you might not know this, but we're here because of the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, or WIOA. And we could all probably chant in our sleep, WIOA is landmark legislation, that it's designed to strengthen and improve our local economy through developing our workforce, getting the individuals, the residents, the citizens to be highly skilled and get them into the jobs that they want and help them overcome barriers to employment. So we're focusing on everybody, but with a particular emphasis on youth and those with barriers to employment. So this helps everyone achieve higher quality of life. So our vision in our board bylaws is that we serve as a strategic leader and convener of local workforce systems stakeholders. The board partners with employers and workforce system to develop policies and investments that support workforce system strategies, that support regional economies, the development of effective approaches, including local and regional sector partnerships and career pathways, and high quality customer-centered service delivery and service delivery approaches. That is a long rambling sentence, but what's in there is really important. We are strategic leaders. We are convening everyone together, that we are looking for effective approaches, and that we use sector partnerships, and we're achieving high quality customer-centered service. So all of those things are really important. And yeah, we could probably say that a little more eloquently. I've seen other workforce boards, their visions and missions a little bit more succinct, but really what we're doing is important work. And it is there in the vision, despite how randomly it's written, it seems. So our purpose is to provide that strategic and operational oversight in collaboration with partners and workforce stakeholders. Who are workforce stakeholders? Everyone. Anyone who benefits from having a strong workforce and a thriving local economy, those are our stakeholders. Our title partners that are here, we call them required partners, title partners, core partners, we have all kinds of names for them. And also beyond the title partners are other required partners, tons of different names, but our training institutions, our state agencies, local business, that's the biggest one, our local businesses. So we assist in the achievement of the state's strategic and operational goals, and we maximize and continuously improve the quality of services, customer service, and effectiveness of Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act services. So this is the only fun part in here that my daughter liked, because I let her jump around and act crazy. So I encourage you all to jump around and act crazy too. I'm going to read some of these functions of our board. So if you think that you do any of these functions, raise your hand, clap, whistle, whatever you want to do, make it fun if you'd like, or just sit there and cover your eyes and avert eye contact. But the functions of the board is to conduct research and regional labor market analysis that will guide the LWIB's objectives. Who's doing that? Nate's doing that. Other people are doing it too, you just don't know it. All right, who is promoting proven or promising practices and strategies for meeting the needs of businesses and individuals? Yes, yes. TPM, yes, we gotcha. All right, who has helped to develop the 4-year regional plan and our annual reports? That might be close, yeah. Y'all are gonna be on the next planning team. You're gonna get that message. All right. Who negotiates local performance measures with DCO? All right. Tony, you do a lot of this stuff. You should be like standing up. Who negotiates with required one-stop partners on infrastructure costs in the MOU? We all do that, yes. All right, who leads efforts to engage with a diverse range of employers in the region to meet the demands of industry? Yeah, we're engaging with local businesses, or we are local businesses. Who is developing strategies for optimizing accessibility and effectiveness of workforce development ecosystems through technology? If any of you have ever joined one of my Zoom meetings, you are leveraging technology to be effective, right? We all did it, yay. Who selects and evaluates service providers? Yeah, y'all do that. Who certifies the American Jobs Center or the One Stop Center? We do that, right? We do that, yeah. Who conducts oversight of WIOA programs and one-stop delivery system? We do that too. Who develops sector strategies and career pathways with business and education partners? TPM, ERCA, LIFT, CTE, any of our education partners and local businesses that are involved, you're doing that. Who leverages support for workforce activities by convening local workforce development stakeholders? All of you are doing that. Now, I know some of you are probably like, well, I didn't put my hand up very often. That's because you do have a really good staff, I think, that is doing that stuff for you. But you are welcome and encouraged at any time to jump in and help us out. And that's going to go into our call to action a little bit later. So what are the roles of the local workforce innovation board? Again, the strategist that helps to understand trends and set the collective vision. The convener brings partners together, aligns the services. The manager designs and manages customer-centered service delivery. And the optimizer uses data to drive decisions and continuous improvement. So let's get right into the strategist. The role of the strategist requires the board to smartly plan for and implement regional talent pipelines, understanding the demand picture via strong sector partnerships, and responding through career pathway systems and development. The board must be aware of the trends that will impact businesses and are charged with the developing of the vision of nimble and responsive talent delivery system that meets current needs and anticipates future challenges. It's the state and local workforce development boards that set the agenda with a bigger picture of community success in mind. So as the strategist, the board becomes the regional backbone of the workforce system, helping to create a collective vision and coordinating regional organizations to implement it. So like asterisks, highlight, whatever you got to do, little fireworks on the side, the board becomes the regional backbone of the workforce system. I know we get really wrapped up in Title I. What are we doing for adult services? What are we doing for dislocated worker? But we have to remember we are here to convene all of the partners. That's why we have title partners on the board. We are also very business led. That's why we have business, 51% being private business partners. And anyone who has a stake in the game, we need to be bringing them together and getting their input as we strategize and create locally our local and regional plan. So for the strategist, understanding trends and setting the collective vision, that's the partnerships with policymakers. That's why we have our consortium of CEOs. We're part of fostering innovation, and we do that through nominating quality board members. That's why it's so important that our chief elected officials, our CEOs, are doing due diligence to find us the most engaged and most qualified board members, because that's who's going to help us. We need to have innovative and quality board members, and then negotiating performance standards, enhancing collaboration, promoting innovative policies. Innovation is the key. We got to try new things, and testing new models. The local boards are both strategic and operational. They create an agile system that identifies and responds quickly to the needs of industries, as we see that workforce changes on a dime at times. Last 3 years have been an optimal learning experience. The board also defines sector partnerships. So those roundtables that we have with the business service team, that talent pipeline management that we keep talking about, our partnerships with industry, getting them all together, that's our sector partnerships. We're part of developing career pathways, strengthening connections between the core programs, our title partners, and effective use of technology, of course. So we're going to keep talking about talent pipeline management for a while. So quicker you guys understand that is a sector partnership, that is a best practice, and help us to develop and strengthen those along the way, the better for our area. So then moving on to the convener. The role of the convener requires boards to build and nurture strong local partnerships with community organizations, including businesses. That is key right here, including businesses, and then education, one-stop partners, and economic development partners. Implied in the convener role is the premise that the Workforce Development Board is not the only entity responsible for building a world-class workforce system. So a lot of times when we think about workforce, we think of the board, we think of Title I. It is not just us. It is all of us working together, all of the title partners. So the power lies in being able to set the vision and convene the right partners together to broker a more comprehensive set of solutions for business and job seeker customers. The Workforce Board envisions collaborative and consensus-driven partnerships that increase civic engagement around key issues. So we need to be talking about up-to-date, immediate issues. We need to convene, collaborate, and host statewide and community conversations that help board members understand the complexity of their regional markets and make decisions about how to align workforce resources. So how do we do that? We collaborate with our core partners or our title partners. We collaborate with our required partners, and that would be like our Perkins partners, our community-based organizations, and then our business and community partners as well. So we are very business-led. We do this through our work groups, our committees, our regional planning team, our business services team, those sector round tables or TPM collaboratives, and then just engaging with businesses and community partners. So we are the lead convener of the workforce development activities and strategies consistent with the vision and goals outlined in the state's unified plan.
Got a couple people. I'm not a host anymore, so I can't let them in.
Well, I can't see them on here now. Let me,
Whoever says you make me a host, I won't.
I might have to. See if I can't. Hold on one sec, technical. Why did it go back to doing that again? How do I make you? I'm gonna stop sharing for just a moment. It still didn't come back to me. All right. Post. Share screen. Is this where I was at? We're gonna try right here.
You're getting ready to.
All right, that's good. Are you good? Do you have capabilities now?
Yeah.
Now I got this little guy hanging out over here. All right. Tony, you did this on purpose because you skipped me a whole bunch of slides up, didn't you?
I haven't coughed once.
Okay, see, it goes on to two screens and I gotta find my mouse and get me back to where maybe I was. Okay, no, I just finished up convener. All right, you're off the hook, Tony. The manager. So the role of manager requires the board to make sure that the system, including the American Job Center, so our one-stop shop, are responding to local and regional workforce needs by putting customer needs at the center of service delivery, processes, and customer flow. So the board is tasked with the oversight of the entire workforce system, ensuring that it runs efficiently and that funding is managed responsibly. So the manager, that includes, like I said, customer service survey, budgeting and fiscal management, contract for the one-stop operator, and contract for the service provider. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, I don't know what customer service survey, it's because we haven't done one in a couple of years because the one-stop has been closed. So we will get back to doing that soon so that we're able to ensure that we are customer focused. But we, as the board, the staff, SEPs, our service provider, our board committees, and our one-stop operator are all working together to manage that whole delivery system for workforce services. So then we get to the optimizer. This one is the coolest sounding one because it deals with data, but also it kind of Venn diagrams with everything that we just talked about. So the role of the optimizer requires boards to continuously monitor performance and adjust in anticipation of the trends or in response to the trends. So the board as strategists use that data to examine macroeconomic trends, looking for patterns that will impact the workforce system and ensure good outcomes. Data should come from many sources for a whole comprehensive analysis. This may include feedback from businesses, along with reviewing economic trends, labor market data, program performance outcomes, workforce and educational indicators, and other information that's relevant to the community. So we do have really awesome partners at the Illinois Department of Employment Services that give us great data, but it's all regional and state level data, and it's a little bit old. So if we want to make informed decisions, we need to have good, strong, real-time local data. And that is one of the things that Talent Pipeline Management also offers us. It gives us a framework for collecting that data and for being able to quickly analyze, report, and use that real-time local level data to make decisions for our workforce system right here, right now. So for us, that data drives the board's decisions about which businesses to engage with regarding incumbent worker opportunities, youth work experience, and apprenticeships. That local data is analyzed to determine when or if a particular industry shows significantly greater need than others. For instance, during the pandemic, we saw healthcare manufacturing needing a ton of extra attention than they had previously even. So all of that informs our decisions about what business to encourage directing participants towards and the kind of grants or public-private partnerships we should be pursuing to help the industry and to which extent we are meeting diversity, equity, and inclusion indicators within that sector. So this all goes back to the continuous improvement cycle as well, identifying those improvement opportunities, analyzing root causes, and then developing, testing, and implementing solutions. So with all that, knowing what your 4 rules are, the call to action that I have for you is a challenge to continue to shift the thinking from focusing on just Title I issues and focus more on building that whole talent pipeline with an emphasis on system agility, business management, and meaningful connections across partners. I hope that you will take full advantage of the board training to tackle the important workforce issues along with the talent development continuum. Your task as a strategist, a convener, a manager, and an optimizer is to design a system that provides economic opportunity to everyone who wants to go to work, find a better job, or improve their skills to succeed in the 21st century workforce. I need you to not come to me just when there are problems and closures and bad things happening in your area. We offer rapid response services, but I also need to know when there's good things happening, when there's growth, expansion, when there's opportunity. The more support that we can offer to make that growth happen faster and stronger, then that everyone benefits from that. So my real call to action when I sit there and I think, what do I need of my board? I just need you guys to keep me informed, to stay informed in your areas, to be that advocate, to be thinking about the entire workforce ecosystem, not just Title I, and to be willing to work across partnerships, across sectors, and just working together as a cohesive team. I think we have a really good board. I think we have a really terrific staff, if I do say so myself. But really, we have a great staff that has a lot of knowledge and experience, and we have a phenomenal service provider as well. So Title I is taken care of. We all need to come together as title partners and look beyond just Title I services. So in your packet, you'll see a list of resources, but they're all links. That's not going to help you on paper. So if you would like links to these resources, the WIOA Act, our quick start planner that a lot of this came from in our workforce GPS, WIOA resources, let me know. But other than that, are there any questions from this deep dive into your role as workforce board? All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Jamie. Appreciate that. It's always good to learn what we're supposed to be doing. It's always a good thing. I mentioned this to her earlier. We had years ago, when I was a CEO, we had someone from Oblong that I kind of recruited to be on the board, you know, a business owner. And she was a classmate of mine in high school, and she came to several meetings, but she just said, Gerald, I don't get this. I just don't get what our purpose is, you know, and she became discouraged because of that. So I appreciate Jamie putting the effort in so we can know what our real purpose is. But her final comments, I think, really hit the nail on the head. We are the eyes and ears of our county. You know, that's who we are. I mean, we need to be watching what's happening in our county, whether it's, like she said, good or bad, so we can put the staff to work and let them respond and take care of those needs, whether they're companies that need employment. I mean, we got that now in Crawford County, you know, and fortunately we don't have the layoffs, but we got businesses coming that need employees. So that becomes more of a struggle in it when you got a county that's losing population, you know, so all those things play together though. But anyway, we appreciate your efforts and thank you, Jamie, for that.
It was a little more than 4 minutes and 27 seconds, so sorry.
Yeah, no one fell asleep and that's good. So, all right, we'll move on to item 5, which is our our committee reports. Chris said she did not have to give all the reports this month, so we're glad for that. So, Mike, go ahead with your oversight planning, please.
Planning Oversight Committee met on March 16th, which was last Thursday at 4:30. We went over Deb's grant recipient financial agent reports and improved them. We also heard from Tony that they did a fiscal monitoring report on SEFs, and there was no findings. So that's a good thing. Tony will go over the bylaws and board modifications. We approved all these as a committee and are bringing them to the full board tonight.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. All right. Chris, you're up.
Youth Committee met earlier this afternoon, and you're going to find out later on during the bylaw discussion that we have some changes to the bylaws for our Youth Committee. So we talked about what that restructuring is going to look like and how we're going to proceed forward as a Youth Committee. One of the things that we did was elect a chair and a vice chair. Lori Foreman from AgriFab is going to serve as our chair, and Kayla Lambert is going to serve as our vice chair for the Youth Committee. We really want to make the committee much more robust and work closer with people who serve youth in our community. Lori does a great job at AgriFab with employing young people in the community, high school students that are working full-time at AgriFab. So they have a great model there, and we want to be able to bring people around the table. So we wanted to have a group that we would line out what that would look like. Right now, what we're looking at is Title I, we would have one representative, Title II, one representative, Title III, one, Title IV, one representative, K through 12, including our EFE and ROEs in the area, that we would have two representatives from business and industry, and one representative from the juvenile justice system across our 13 counties. So we're really hoping to be able to bring people around the table and see how we can better serve our youth. And I think Jamie said it very well. Don't just tell us when there's bad things going on. Tell us what's working with youth so we can find out if that can be replicated with another business, with another government agency, social service agency, K through 12, higher ed, and everyone else that wants to serve youth in our community. We had an update on performance measures and also reporting of activities that are going on within our youth program from our Title I providers. And it was a really good meeting. We had to kind of cut it a little bit short because we were running over. So I know. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. All right. Kevin.
Yes, thank you. We met today at 4 o'clock and Tony went over the MOU agreements. We have the MOU agreement all complete. The budget's done. He needs some signatures from partners, and he will be getting that turned in on May 31st. I am going to ask Jamie just to talk about a little bit about business services, because she did report that we're going to be doing a employer summit. I did want her just to say a few brief words about that.
Yes, okay, and I'm very prepared because I still have that paper out, but I don't. So the business service team over the last 3 months, we've been focusing mainly on what our goals are for the upcoming year. And now we're a quarter of the way through the year. So we are planning on hosting an employer summit in September because that is Workforce Development Month. So we are celebrating the month, recognizing it by having an employer summit. We have a few ideas of some topics. However, we're going to wait until the WIOA summit in May to gather some more ideas and then pick a date and start working on that. Also, throughout the year, we talked a lot about talent pipeline management, and that as a group, we will be training everyone in our business service team because going through the actual talent pipeline management training is expensive and far away sometimes. So we'll just do kind of in-house training for that. And we've already established roundtables, or as they're known in TPM land, is collaboratives for manufacturing and healthcare. So we are going to expand upon those and put them through the talent pipeline management process framework. And then we will also start roundtables for IT and childcare. And in the next 24 months, we're looking at hopefully getting collaboratives or roundtables, sector partnerships for each of those 5 sectors that we've identified in our regional plan as in demand. So that would be manufacturing, transportation, distribution, logistics, education, healthcare, and building and construction. So that's long-term goals. Yeah, so I think that was it. Roundtables and employer summit in September.
All right, thank you. And then Lori did the one-stop operator report. And Lori, did you have anything specifically you wanted to share?
Kind of like you, I'm kind of like you. Yes, yes, yes. We are going to be starting our cross training again with the one-stop staff. This is going to start in July. We did this quite a bit before COVID hit, and that came to a real quick stop. So we are starting with the core partners coming back in. We will be there, adult ed, and Department of Rehab will also be doing some training with our staff. So we're also going to reach out to some of the other local workforce areas to see what they're doing as far as cross training within their centers also. So our numbers continue to rise in the center. I think folks are figuring out that the doors are open. So our numbers are increasing monthly for CFS and IBES. So looking for new ways to get the word out that we are open, the doors are open, folks can come in. They're looking for a job, they need a resume, that they can come into the center and use those at any time. We also, one last thing, DCO sent out our one-stop operator agreement. There were some corrections or additions that they wanted to be made. There was some specific language that they wanted added to our agreement. We did take care of those corrections, and that has been submitted back to the state. So that's my report.
Okay, and then lastly, we discussed about adding another item to our agenda for our consortium meeting every quarter, and that would be some training from partner training, kind of like the board gets training every quarter. We're going to do a partner training just to remind everybody what services we have to offer and hope to pass that knowledge on so we can help more customers, the people we serve. So that is my report.
All right. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it. And of course, you can see there was no executive report for this past quarter. So with that, we do need a motion to approve the committee reports as presented. Someone like to make a motion, please?
So moved.
Okay. Thanks, Mike. A second. All right, Carol, made a second. Okay. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Now you may see out to the side of this, it says a roll call vote for everything. That was kind of an error on the agenda. What we're doing tonight will not require a roll call vote, okay? So just so you know. All right, number 6. Laura, you're up again.
Lakeland College, they completed our routine program monitoring for review of the adult, youth, dislocated worker, and trade programs for the time period covering February 22nd of 2022 through February 27th of this year, the week of February 27th. I'm happy to report, Tony, there were no findings from this monitoring visit. Lakeland, they will be back the last week in April. They're going to be doing our fiscal monitoring. And in DCEO, they're scheduled for our annual program monitoring across all titles. They will be with us in May. We don't have an exact date for that yet. Our staff, we've been attending some service matrix series trainings, and this is provided by DCEO during the month of February. The service matrix is a DCEO OET resource for participant services and a standardized reference tool categorized by adult dislocated worker, career and training, youth program elements, supportive services, follow-up, and work-based learning. This is something the state's really worked hard over the last few years developing this. This is going to be a really crucial tool to help our case managers out in the field. And this went live a couple weeks ago, and we're very impressed by what we're seeing right now. We've also had some dislocated worker eligibility training back on March 1st, which was also presented by DCEO. The training included recent changes in the dislocated worker eligibility guidance. The dislocated worker policy was updated to expand disaster recovery, national dislocated worker grant, and dislocated worker eligibility requirements. The expected outcome is increased access to dislocated worker and dislocated worker grant services and serving individuals needing reemployment services. Over the last couple of years, our dislocated workers, our numbers are just declining. They continue to decline. And with them expanding the definition of the dislocated worker, and there's an additional category we can use, we're hoping maybe that will bring more of those people into the office that are looking for work. So hopefully with those changes, that will make a difference in our numbers also. Our staff, we continue to attend the Illinois Workforce Partnership meetings, the Illinois Workforce Task Force meetings held monthly. We're looking forward to summer semester of the area colleges, IECC and KC. They started registering for summer and fall semester last week. Lakeland started this week. So we're just doing a lot of case management, working with our folks. Right now, we do have a waiting list that depending on what our funding looks like, we haven't really heard anything yet. So that will make a determination and how many we can add or maybe not add in the coming months. And there have been no layoffs, plant closures, or rapid response events to report. And did you say anything about our performance reports? Okay, just one real quick thing. We've got 15 performance measures, 5 for youth, 5 for adult, and 5 for dislocated worker. Our adult and dislocated worker, all of those elements, we're either meeting or exceeding every one of those. On the youth side, we are exceeding 4 of those measures. We're failing 1, and that is the youth credential attainment rate. And normally about this time, that's when things are, we're taking a really close look at June 30th, what's going to be happening June 30th. We've identified 8 people that are going to be graduating. We only need 1 to meet it and 3 to exceed. So I'm optimistic that we're probably going to exceed that measure also, but I did want to mention that. As of the end of February, we have 274 customers receiving career and training services through all programs. 131 customers have been exited this program year. Total number served to date is 405.
Right. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Lori? Great report. Thank you very much. Jamie, you're back up. It's your fiscal aid report.
All right. I know you guys just want to hear more of my exciting stuff, don't you? Okay. I did not run this one by my daughter, so I'm sure this one is much more fun. So incumbent worker projects. Is that what's showing up there? It's hard to see for you guys, but there's about 12 projects listed up there. In an average year, we do 7 to 10. So already we're hitting 12, 13. There's been quite an explosion when it comes to incumbent worker training. We see a lot in lean leadership and lean concepts, but CDL is creeping up there as well. And there's a lot more on the horizon. So last I looked, we had like 10,000 left in incumbent worker. And I think that's about already spoken for with some that have come down to the pipe, some interest just in the last week or so. So that's exciting stuff. Tony's actually been doing things. He does things all the time. He's done more of these incumbent worker things. So looking at our program year 21 and 22 formula modifications. So back last November, I think it was, did I write that on there? We did a modification for our plan year 21 dollars. We reallocated $225,000 from dislocated worker over to adults because like Lori was saying, we have a really low unemployment rate. We have not had a lot of dislocated worker activity. So we've been able to move that money over to adults where we can serve more people. And then coming up for plan year 22, we realized we're about in the same predicament. So we just as of this month moved $400,000 from dislocated worker over to adult. So you can see there the original amounts and then the modified amounts. Those were done in November and March, right? Then moving on to apprenticeship expansion grant modification, we also submitted a modification just this month for that particular grant. That's a different grant, not with our formula funds. It's a one-cycle grant. We were awarded $98,000 to support the initiative of having an apprenticeship navigator, and that's why we have Nate. When we did the request for that, the application, maybe that was me, underestimated some of the fringe. So what we needed to do was reallocate about $11,900 from salaries, supplies, and travel, and move that over to fringe so that we could continue to support the fringe amount going through the end of the grant cycle. We did not ask for additional money. We just moved some around to be able to cover fringe costs. Our grant cycle does end June 30th. However, looking at the fact that the vast majority of that grant is just for salary and fringe personnel costs to have Nate on staff, if we stop that grant on June 30th, that would leave about $14,000 that we would have to give back to the state. So if we requested an extension till August 31st, so that would give us time to expend some more of those salary costs and be able to have some help with the sector roundtables that we're doing with our business service team, and to continue to support apprenticeship development for as long as we can while we try to come up with a next step as far as apprenticeship goes. And we were just last week, just Friday, I think, approved for that extension. So now that grant will run through August 31st. And that we were able to move enough money to accommodate that fringe amount through the new extension of that grant. I will go ahead and let Nate give a little synopsis of what's been going on with apprenticeship since our last meeting real quick.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Nate. Just seeing on my way out, so if you never learn my name. My role here was to conduct outreach for apprenticeships, registered apprenticeship development throughout our region, 13 counties served. It's about 60%, the other 40% is real-time workforce data collection in line with talent pipeline management, which you've heard about 37 times this evening, and maybe you could ask me real nicely, so let's talk about it next time. Which, I mean, I don't think you're looking for it. It is very important. So to touch on some of the really exciting stuff we've had going on. I started this role about a year ago, and every month the Department of Employment Services puts out a report of what the top requested roles are in all industries. So we'll aggregate that in hiring websites, Indeed.com, something like that. It probably wouldn't surprise anybody at the top of all of those lists almost every month was registered nurses. Obviously, the pandemic has only increased the need for healthcare providers and staff in our region. And so, immediately for me, I highlighted big with the highlighter, okay, we need a registered nurse apprenticeship. And everybody I asked about, everybody Jamie asked about, was like, well, listen, the experts on top field for other states, and for the vast majority of people we talked to, it wasn't a possibility. Healthcare providers were interested in making that kind of long-term investment in their training, and this didn't seem to, they couldn't find a pre-existing model. But we kept pushing because we believe the necessity of that program and the value added apprenticeship to our local healthcare providers. So I'm proud to say that after several months of development, we do have the first end-to-end registered nurse, registered apprenticeship program in the state of Illinois, one of the first in the country, with Clay County Hospital and Illinois Eastern Community Colleges. When I say end-to-end program, what that means is somebody who entered that program with a high school diploma or GED, or their CNA, or their LPN, or their RN, all debt-free while working for that employer. So we're really excited about the possibilities and opportunities that's going to create in healthcare. I don't want to say anything now. We have a lot more healthcare programs on the way throughout the regions. You have not seen the last of healthcare apprenticeships. We know that the need is there. We know that the value of the apprenticeship adds for employers and apprentices alike. So we've been really excited to see that development. And the next time you'll see me, hopefully we'll have even more on that. We also have exciting programs in development in other sectors. We have programs in development with Express Employment, Rural K, Master Health Co, and some other healthcare stuff along the way as well. So we've been really excited to keep doing this community outreach, and everybody we talk to about apprenticeships, their ears perked up once they hear the incentives that are available, the retention that it can help. If you use it in many conversations, maybe after some of these meetings, you hopefully got the same reaction. So thank you all for helping us continue to spread the word on these programs, and we're very proud of it.
I think that's pretty cool to be the first in the state to have that registered nurse apprenticeship. And that is that career pathway we talk about in the rules. That right there, apprenticeship is a career pathway. So look at that again, talent pipeline management. So just to give you an update on where we're at with that, Courtney Aki, who's on the call, one of our board members from Effingham Regional Growth Alliance, he and I are working with the U.S. Chamber Foundation to be TPM certified. Nate earned his certification last July, I think. So Courtney and I are working right now on our capstone projects with different teams here in Illinois, going through the motions of implementing talent pipeline concepts. And we're doing it in real life with our business service team as well. So our final strategy trainings and capstone presentations will be in May. And like I said earlier, we are training our BST in-house for that talent pipeline management approach and implementing it throughout our region. So on the horizon, as you've already heard, we do have DCO annual monitoring slated to start in May, and that's likely to be done in a hybrid manner. The last couple, since I've been on board, it's been completely remote and not a pleasant experience. So hopefully we get a different experience, a personal touch to it, but we don't have an official date yet. We will begin the plan year 23 budget process mid to late April. We're hopeful that we'll be getting our allocations soon. This time last year and the year before, we had at least an estimate. We don't even have that now. So we're fingers crossed for April, but it might be May. And then LWIA 23 summer staff hours start May 15th. We will not be in the office on Fridays. Gerald, I'm not going to be here Fridays for just a few weeks, but then we'll be back the third week of August, back to Fridays in the office. So if you're trying to get a hold of me on Fridays, call myself. I'll be at a beach somewhere probably, so it'll just go to voicemail. 8th grade career conference, I was going to use this time to ask anyone for some last minute participants, but we have 61 external business partners signed up to be career planners. Best year I'd ever been involved with before was 44. So this is a banner year. It is amazing. If you didn't get a chance to sign up, mark your calendars for next year. I think it's April 13th and 14th, mid-April next year. Because this is an awesome event, and this is where we have that opportunity to make the connection with the students in our area now to get them thinking about what classes to take, how to prepare, where they want to work at, and get them to stay in this area. Registration is open for the WIOA Summit, May 11th and 12th. There's not an agenda yet, but this is generally, every year I've been involved, it's been really valuable. There's tons of stuff going on. I think there will be possibly a presentation from LWIA 23 in Lakeland College. So just for that alone, you should sign up. And then I want to take the time to acknowledge our 2023 board member perfect attendance. So Gerald, Kevin Busher, Julie Obermark, Chris Stroll, and Carol Tracy over the last 4 quarterly meetings, not this one included. You guys have all had perfect attendance. There were quite a few runners up that just missed one. So I really wanted to include them, but I couldn't. Like, I gotta give credit where credit's due, but really, I appreciate you all for being here as often as you are and taking advantage of the hybrid option when it's available. So we appreciate your evident dedication and support to the WIOA mission, and we are fortunate to have such qualified and engaged people serving on our local workforce area board. So I know you guys have all subscribed to our podcast, Win Workforce Innovation News. It's available on Apple, Google, Spotify, and Stitcher. And because you are already subscribed, then you know about our most recent episode, episode 25. Our very own Jason Warfel was kind enough to humor me and listen to my awkward questions as I talked to him about what it's like to be on the workforce board, why he's involved, and he gave so much information and perspective on why it's important to have a business-led workforce board. We talk about our title partners and all of the Title I things that we're doing, but the people who make it all happen are our local businesses. So we continue to be business-led. We want good, strong engagement from our local businesses. And Jason was kind enough to be my partner in re-emphasizing that to everyone. So if you have not yet, check it out. You can download the episode from any major podcast platform. We also have the video up on YouTube if you want to laugh at me. So I think our channel's local workforce innovation area 23. You all are subscribed to that too, though, so I'm sure you already got a notification. Don't forget to follow us, like and share. Please share our content. I do put time and effort into getting semi-decent content out there, but if it's not being shared, then and no organic participation, then it's not going anywhere. And I've just done that for no reason. I'm the only one steady liking all those posts. So go through when you are in between two meetings and you got a few minutes to kill. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or YouTube, go through, like, follow, share that information. Any questions? All right, well, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Jamie, very much. Appreciate it, right? Good report. So we move on to this big document. And we're gonna let Tony give us a little brief.
It'll be brief, I promise. We talked about this several meetings in a row. Youth committees talked about it for, oh goodness, 20 years. But anyway, what we came to the conclusion of, we were gonna leave the youth committee as a standing committee of this board. We're just gonna change the wording in the bylaws so that it allows them to not have 51% board members as committee members. That was set up by law. There is a stipulation in the WIOA Act, or the WIOA law, I guess, that says they don't have to do that. So we copied what is on the bylaws, that it was highlighted in yellow on page, I don't know what page. We copied that out of the law and got permission from the state of Illinois to say, yes, this is what we can do. So the idea around it is to get more people on this committee that deal with youth on a daily basis, instead of having, this board is made up of 51% business members, business owners, executives. Then they said 51% has to be board members, but we want people that deal with youth every day. So anyway, that's the changes we made in the wording of the bylaws. So that being said, this has been talked about for quite a while now. It's come to fruition, and this is where we're at.
You have any comment, Chris, on this? Okay, so, and Chris kind of gave a little bit about what was happening with the youth, okay? So this is a result of that, okay? All their hard work and trying to get it focused where they can be more functional, okay? And not feel like, we don't have enough people here, we can't do our job, you know? So this is gonna free them up a lot and really help our youth, which, as you know, with Lori's report, that's the one thing that we're a little bit deficient on. Not bad, but one more person, you know? So I'm gonna ask that you approve this. We need a motion to approve the modification to the board bylaws. Okay,
I'll make that motion.
all right, Jason, thank you. Do we have a second for that? Does anyone want to make a second? All right, Deb, all right. Any questions as far as what is happening here? Okay, I think they've done a good job explaining it. So if none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. All. Any opposed, same sign? All right, thank you very much for that, very much. So, once again, it's that time of year for appointment and nominating committee. And Tony, if no one volunteers, he disappoints, but anyway, go ahead.
It's kind of, Chris will attest, that's kind of what happened this morning. I looked at the agenda and said, uh-oh, I forgot this is on there. So anyway, every year in March, we have to have a nominating committee. We usually have public sector folks nominate private sector folks for chair and vice chair for the following year. So this year, Chris Stroll, Casey Bergholzer, and Carol Tracy have so graciously volunteered to be on that committee. If there's anybody else that wants to be on that committee, say so, or whoever holds the peace.
All right, so with that, do we have a motion to hurry up and adopt these as the nominating committee? All right. I'm sorry. Okay, do I have a second? Anybody? Nobody wants, all right, Deb's a good second again. So all those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Thank you all much for sacrificing your time to be on that committee. We appreciate it very much. So we're down all the way to item 10, other business. I have a opportunities to share. I've talked about Crawford County the last 2 meetings. I won't talk about them again, but we're still doing okay. All right. So, but anyway, if not, if there are no opportunities, anybody wants to share, then public comment time. I will say this, our next meeting, June 12th. June 12th, hopefully down at the Steps building, hopefully. That's the goal. We'll see. We were hoping that this time, but it just didn't quite work out. So, but Kevin said they're hanging drywall and working on drywall now. So hopefully that'll work. So does anyone else have any public comments? Is anything they'd like to say? Don't forget CEOs, stay in your seat. Your meeting will be right after this one. And then we'll attendance then. So if there's nothing else, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Chris makes a motion to adjourn. All right. Anybody want a second? Anybody want to leave? All right. All right. Carol, Tracy will make the second. All right. Thank you all for coming very much. Happy spring, happy Easter, all the above. All right. Thank you all.
If URS due becomes a matter of public record. So with that, the LWIA 23 quarterly CEO meeting can start whenever Chair Purdy is ready.
And do we have a quorum?
Well, let's do a roll call and I think we're
We'll
gonna
see.
make it.
All right. All right, welcome to the CEO meeting for March the 20th. Let's have roll call, please.
Todd Beard. Jim Bullock.
Yeah.
Jim Brewer.
Yes.
Bill Burke. Josh Douthat.
Present.
Joe Goodman. Dennis Graves. Jacob Harris. Nancy Purdy.
Here.
Josh Rowe. Debbie Smith.
Here.
Jeff Boyd.
Here.
Jason Warfel.
Here.
Just made it.
All righty. Want to introduce new members, and we have a new member here tonight. And that would be Josh Douthat from Effingham County. Welcome. Do you want to say a few words or just kind of?
I talked enough tonight. We had our full county board meeting tonight, so.
Okay.
And I zipped over here, so I appreciate the opportunity, and I know it wasn't at the orientation maybe meeting or what have you, but I will do my best to attend these.
We were at
If
you,
they are
we did
all
orientation
the
with you.
night of, well, you came in, I guess you did.
Yeah.
But I wasn't available the first time.
Oh, yeah.
But you have them on the nights of the third Monday of the month, then it's gonna be difficult for me to get over here, but I'll do my best. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much
Uh-huh.
for being part of this. Other new members would be Joe Goodman with Clay County, Bill Burke for Crawford County, and Joshua Rowe for Moultrie County. Well, Moultrie County. Okay. Number 3, review and approval of the September 19th, 2022 minutes.
Move their approval.
You move. I need a second. All right, thank you, Jeff and Debbie. Do I have a? Okay, so we need to. Is that a roll call for that, or just a simple approval? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Number 4, conflict of interest disclosure. Anyone have any conflicts to disclose for this meeting? Seeing none, we'll move on. Number 5, signatory authority update. Jamie?
So back in December, we did not quite have a quorum. I did announce it then, but since we have a quorum now, I'll reiterate that Lakeland Vice President Greg Nuxall signed, used signatory authority to sign for our trade grant on November 17th, and then our plan year 21 modification on November 17th as well. That's what I discussed in earlier fiscal report. And then this month, again, we had Lakeland sign for our plan year 22 modification on March 3rd, that 400,000 from dislocated worker over to adult, and then signed again for the apprenticeship navigator modification request on March 14th, where we moved that 11,900 from various lines into fringe. And that has been all of the signatures thus far.
All right, don't sit down. We have number 6, board attendance report, also Jamie.
Yes, so in your package, you should have a copy of the attendance report. Going through, there's a couple who have been not great attendance. So if you could look at those that are from your area, your county, and just encourage them to attend or assign a proxy so that if they are unable to attend, life does happen. We need to have representation. There's direct correlation between engagement, attendance, and how much money ends up benefiting those counties. We don't say 12% goes to this county and 17 goes to this county. It is how much engagement, how much just advocacy and word of mouth there is. So definitely make sure that you're selecting board members that are going to do good things for us, that are going to advocate for us, and keep everyone informed of opportunities and challenges. So I would like to have seen more perfect attendance on our perfect attendance report, but I do understand life happens. So as long as we are able to, with Open Meetings Act being kind of suspended at the moment, I will continue to offer a hybrid option for in case life happens. But I do want to be cognizant that that could go away when the executive emergency order is repealed. If they don't make any changes to the Opens Meeting Act, we would still have to make quorum in a physical location before we could even decide if we want anyone to allow people to attend remotely. So take advantage of it while it's here and encourage your board members to do so as well. I know things happen, but if they can just tune in for just a little bit of time, that makes doing business a little bit easier.
Thank you. All right, number 7, election of chair and vice chair. Do I have a nomination for chair?
Thank you.
Every year.
I've done it the last 3.
I think so.
Makes it easy.
Fine job.
Thank you.
And if you will accept, I will stay on as vice chair.
And I
Well,
make
there you
that,
go.
I move the 2 of them.
I like it.
Okay.
All
like
right,
that.
so I think we had a second. Jim seconded that, and so then we want to do those
Why
together
you let me
since they.
second his double motion? Now we can do both of them.
All right, so we, okay, we have a motion and a
Motion
second for
to
both.
for benefits.
So Josh got the second.
All right, roll call, please. What, I guess we have to say,
To do roll call? No.
okay, we don't do roll call.
She's two voices.
It's got roll call.
All in favor.
Okay. Just all in favor, signify
Aye.
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 How many of you don't want me back?
Cut my hands off.
All right. Thank you. I guess we're in for another year. Okay, thank you. Makes it a little easier for you than Tony, doesn't it, to get those signatures?
A lot easier.
Okay. The next meeting under old business, new business, the next meeting is June the 12th. Any public comment, number 9? Public comment, anybody?
I will here in a minute. Nancy.
Nate, Lori, you have anything to
I
say?
know, but who is not?
And then Tony's thinking about it.
So the other thing I wanted to say was what she said earlier, picking good board members. So come in our board recertification packet is due in the end of September. So we've got a lot of time, but it's time to start thinking about it. So the counties that have to replace somebody, Effingham, John Perry is the board member now. He's expired 2023. Fayette County, Lawrence County, and Edgar County. So Ryan is Lawrence.
Yes.
And so, I mean, if he wants to stay on, great, but just come September, we got to do reappointments for him. So just something to think about. We got a lot of time.
but time goes
Depends
fast.
on me to deliver furniture, he will serve.
All right, well, he's in.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Number 10, closing remarks, just be safe going home. We get a little more light at this time of night, but be safe all of the places you have to go. And I need a motion to adjourn. All righty. Debbie, and I have a second. It's a tie between, gonna fight over there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. I will end the recording now.